Top 7 craziest tractors ever built, machines that shouldn't exist. Before tractors became quiet, polished, and predictable, they were wild, unstable, experimental machines that pushed engineering past common sense. Some crawled on tank tracks, some ran backward if you overloaded them, some were steered with leather reins instead of a wheel, and others were welded together in barns because manufacturers didn't dare build what farmers truly needed. These machines weren't practical. They were bold, risky, and unforgettable. Today, we're stepping into the forgotten chapter of agricultural history where innovation didn't follow rules. It broke them. This is the world of the 7 craziest tractors ever built. Mechanical creatures so strange, you'd swear they shouldn't exist. Buckle up. The madness starts now. Ranked 7th, Advanced Roomley Line Drive, USA, approximately 1920. Imagine steering a 20-horsepower iron beast with leather reins. That was the Advanced Roomley Line Drive, one of the strangest tractors ever built, born around 1920 in LaPorte, Indiana, from the famed Advanced Roomley oil pull line. It carried a 4-cylinder Wisconsin engine instead of the usual 2-cylinder oil-cooled motor. But its true madness lay in control. No steering wheel, no seat up front. The operator stood behind the implement, pulling reins that ran through pulleys to guide the front axle. It moved like a mechanical team of horses, muscle replaced by machinery. This design bridged 2 worlds. Farmers still trusted horses, engineers believed in engines, Roomley tried to join them, and the result defied reason. Only 1 or 2 line drives were ever built. The idea was too risky, too complex. Yet it captured a turning point in history, the last whisper of the horse era before steering wheels ruled the land. Today, the surviving line drive sits in museums, a rare monument to the moment when invention and instinct collided. A tractor guided not by gears but by faith in leather and steel. Ranked 6th, Vickers VR 180 Vigor, UK, 1952 to 1958. Meet the Vickers VR 180 Vigor, a tractor that looked like it rolled straight out of a tank factory because it actually did, born in post-war Britain. The Vigor carried a supercharged Rolls-Royce C6 SFL diesel engine, 6 cylinders, 12.17 liters, 190 horsepower, and 810 newton meters of torque. Its suspension came directly from the Vickers Tetrarch light tank, letting this 16-ton machine charge across rough terrain at nearly 15.6 kilometers per hour, almost twice as fast as the Caterpillar D8 of its era. Its modular chassis could be split in 2 hours for maintenance, and the tractor rode on 51 enclosed track links, each 22 inches wide, giving it the footprint and authority of a battlefield vehicle. But that power came at a cost. A Borg and Beck clutch prone to wear, a brutal 10 gallons per hour fuel consumption, and track-throwing issues if the bushings wore down. From 1952 to 1958, only about 1,500 units were built. They were used in agriculture, heavy engineering, and major construction projects like the Kariba Dam in Africa. Watching a VR 180 in action is witnessing tank technology unleashed on a farm. Loud, fast, unstoppable, and unapologetically overbuilt. A machine that shouldn't have existed, yet left a lasting mark on what raw mechanical power could look like on open soil. Ranked 5th, Lanz Bulldog Raupe, Germany, 1930s. The Lanz Bulldog Raupe wasn't just a tractor. It looked like a scaled-down military tank dropped onto a farm, heavy, tracked, and brutally simple. It was built for farmers who needed a machine that could survive anything. Under its rugged hood sat a single-cylinder, 2-stroke hot bulb engine, a design as primitive as it was unstoppable. It could burn almost any liquid fuel, crude oil, kerosene, even waste oil. Displacement ranged from 2.2 to 10.3 liters, producing 12 to 54 horsepower, small numbers on paper, but enormous torque in the field. Starting it was an adventure in itself. Operators heated the hot bulb with a blow lamp, then cranked the engine by hand. Get it wrong, and the engine could run backwards, forcing the driver to cut fuel and start the whole ritual over again. Its full-track design gave it the stability of a military vehicle, clawing through mud, slopes, and uneven ground where wheeled tractors failed. Early versions relied on evaporative cooling, later ones on thermosiphon radiators, allowing them to work long hours under punishing conditions. Despite weighing nearly 4 tons on models like the D9506, the Raupe was mechanically simple. No valves, no carburetor, no delicate components to break, just raw, stubborn engineering that refused to die. Rare, rugged, and utterly unconventional, the Lance Bulldog Raupe blurred the line between farm machine and armored crawler, a tractor born from necessity, shaped by harsh terrain, and remembered today as one of the most bizarre mechanical creatures ever to roam European fields. Ranked 4th, Unimog 70,200, Germany 1948 to 1951. Enter the Unimog 70,200, the very first production Unimog, and one of the most versatile machines ever put on a farm. Designed in 1945 by Albert Friedrich as an all-purpose post-war workhorse, it wasn't just a tractor, it was a mechanical toolbox on wheels. Power came from a compact 1.7-liter OM63 6.9 1.2 diesel, producing 25 horsepower, but paired with ingenious engineering. A 6-speed gearbox with 2 reverse gears, speeds ranging from 1 to 50 kilometers per hour, and a driveline that could switch from rear-wheel drive to four-wheel drive with a simple lever. No clutch needed. Both axles featured lockable differentials, and the machine rode on a flexible ladder frame, portal axles, coil springs, and hydraulic shock absorbers. This gave the 7020 exceptional ground clearance and mobility, enough to climb trails, work fields, or cross forests with ease. Measuring 3.52 meters long and 1.63 meters wide, it carried more than 1 ton on its rear bed, balanced perfectly with 2/3 of the weight on the front axle and 1/3 on the rear. Originally built at Gebruder Boehringer in Göppingen from 1948 to 1951, it even introduced hydraulic brakes on all 4 wheels, a safety feature far ahead of its time. The 70200 wasn't loud or flashy. It wasn't built to intimidate. It was built to solve problems, quietly, precisely, everywhere. A machine that could plow a field in the morning, haul timber by afternoon, and drive home on the road at dinner. More than a tractor, the Unimog 70-20,000 proved that engineering brilliance isn't always about power. Sometimes it's about designing one machine that can do the work of 10. Ranked 3rd, John Deere Tandem, 830 articulated, Canada, 1960s. The John Deere Tandem 830 wasn't born in a factory. It wasn't engineered by a design team. It was created by a farmer so obsessed with power that he built the machine he wished the industry would make. In the 1960s, Alberta mechanic Glenn Munro took 2 standard John Deere 830 diesel tractors, each powered by a 7.7-liter, 2-cylinder diesel engine, and fused them into one enormous articulated unit. 2 engines, 2 chassis, 1 purpose: pull more than any tractor of its time. He removed the front axles of both machines, linked the frames with a central pivot, and installed hydraulic steering and mechanical linkages so the entire machine could be controlled from the rear cab. Throttle, clutch, and gear selection were all rerouted. A hand-built command system guiding 2 hearts beating as one. The combined output reached an estimated 135 drawbar horsepower, nearly double what a single 830 could deliver. And long before manufacturers offered high-horsepower articulated tractors, this homemade colossus did the job anyway, dragging massive implements across the wide Canadian prairie. Only about 97 Munro hitch units were ever produced, and very few survive today. Each one was different, each one a reflection of the person who built it. Machines born not from corporate planning, but from stubborn imagination. Visually, the Tandem 830 looked impossible. 2 elongated green bodies stretching into the horizon, hinged at the center like some agricultural serpent. In motion, it was brute force made graceful, a demonstration of what farmers could accomplish when manufacturers didn't give them what they needed: raw, unconventional, and deeply personal. The John Deere Tandem 830 Articulated is more than a tractor. It's a monument to obsession and to the belief that if the machine you want doesn't exist, you build it yourself. Ranked second, Bungart's U1D, Germany, 1952. Small, strange, and deceptively capable, the Bungart's U1D proved that crazy in tractor engineering isn't always about size. Sometimes it's about design choices no one else dared to make. Built in 1952 in Munich, the U1D was a two-wheeled walk-behind tractor, a machine you didn't ride. You followed the operator walk behind it, steering manually, guiding a compact but determined engine through the soil like a mechanical companion. At its heart was an air-cooled, still diesel engine, typically the 131A or 131B, producing around 14 horsepower. Modest numbers, but the U1D delivered its power with precise, direct torque that made it perfect for vineyards, small plots, and narrow fields where bigger tractors simply couldn't fit. Its beauty was in its simplicity. No hydraulics, no complex systems, just clean mechanical logic. A clutch, a gearbox, and a rugged frame designed to run for decades with minimal upkeep. This is why so many U1Ds that survive today still start with the same confidence they had 70 years ago. Paired with a single plow, tiller, or small implement, the U1D excelled at tasks that demanded control over brute force. Instead of conquering the field, it worked with it, a precise tool for farmers who needed accuracy more than horsepower. Visually, it stood apart from every tractor of its era. Two wheels, long handlebars, and a stance that looked more like an industrial creature than traditional farm machinery. Its rarity, mechanical purity, and unusual form earned it a place among the strangest tractors ever built. Proof that innovation doesn't always roar. Sometimes it hums quietly at ground level. In first place, Fendt Dieselross EF18, Germany 1937 to 1948. The Fendt Dieselross ERF18 doesn't shock with size or noise. Its strangeness lies in something quieter. The simplicity that survived an era of chaos and the small machine that refused to disappear. Built between 1937 and 1948, the Dieselross F18 was one of Germany's first successful small diesel tractors, powered by a 1.8-liter single-cylinder Deutz diesel, producing 18 horsepower at 1,400 RPM. It earned the nickname Diesel Horse, steady, patient, unbreakable. Its evaporation-cooled system needed frequent water refills, a ritual every operator knew by heart. A ZFK-30 gearbox with 4 forward gears and 1 reverse pushed the machine to a modest 15 kilometers per hour, enough to transform a small farm's daily rhythm. Compact and sturdy, the F-18 measured just 2.6 meters long and 1.5 meters wide, weighing roughly 1,500 kilograms. It also carried one revolutionary feature for its class, an independent PTO, allowing implements to run without relying on wheel movement. A leap forward in German farm mechanics. Production paused during the war, then returned from 1945 to 1948 before evolving into the improved F-18H. Most early units vanished, scrapped, lost, or buried in history. What remains today are a few carefully restored machines, their green paint faded, their engines warm with memory. The Dieselross F-18 doesn't stand out because it's extreme. It stands out because it survived. Quiet, resilient, and unchanged while the world around it shifted violently. In the silence around it, you feel what's missing. The farms it once ran, the hands that once cranked it to life, and the era of small diesel machines that shaped modern agriculture without ever asking for attention. A humble icon, a survivor, and the perfect final chapter in a journey through the strangest tractors ever built. From leather-rein tractors to tank-based crawlers to homemade giants built from 2 engines and pure determination, these machines came from a time when engineering was fearless and farming innovation had no rules. Most have disappeared. A few survive in museums or private barns, their steel worn, their engines quiet, their stories louder than ever. They remind us that progress isn't always clean or predictable. Sometimes it's rough, risky, and a little bit crazy. Which of these machines surprised you the most? Share your thoughts below. And if you want to keep exploring the forgotten chapters of mechanical history, there's always another story waiting in the next video.